Good morning, everybody, and welcome. Welcome to Kindness Rising. Today we're talking about warning signs, not the giant flashing red lights, not the alarms, and not the moments when everything falls apart. We're talking about smaller signs, the things we notice but don't always listen to. The tension in our shoulders, the friends who seem quieter than usual, the project that no longer excites you. And the funny thing about warning signs is they rarely arrive with certainty. Most of the time, they're just little nudges, little whispers. And because they're whispers, they're easy to ignore until one day they aren't. So this morning, we're going to explore warning signs, awareness, resilience, and why paying attention may be one of the kindest things we can do for ourselves and each other. So let's ride. Good morning, good morning, good morning, my friends near and far. There's Kathy, first one in this morning. Glad you are here with us, getting it going this morning for a little bit here on Kindness Rising. But maybe we should just always start with a question. When we talk about starting with a question, why don't we start with a question today? Have we ever known something? Have you ever known something but not really listened to it? You knew you needed more sleep. You knew you needed to exercise, or that a relationship wasn't healthy, burning out. You knew you needed a day off. Knowing and listening are two different things. Most of us spend a surprising amount of our time of our lives collecting information. I know I'm guilty of this. Good morning, Roseanne. Good morning, Jess and Sully. Here's the crew rolling in this morning. Glad you're out there. We collect a lot of information, don't we? No, we always know what we should eat, how we should move, or when, right? Or spending more time with people we love, unplugging our phones, all those things. Knowledge isn't the problem, it's the attention. The challenge is warning signs often arrive at inconvenient times, or they're just too hard to put down. You're busy, you've got responsibilities, people depend on you. When you tell yourself to just deal with it later, the trouble is that later has a habit of becoming much later, or maybe never. Right? I think one of the most underrated forms of self-kindness is starting to pay attention early. It's one thing that I'm learning and leaning into, trying to figure things out sooner. It's always been a little bit of a delayed reaction. I think we're all going, before the crisis, before the burnout, before the health scare, let's continue, before the relationship breaks, before life gets out of hand, but also because life usually gives us clues if we're willing to question and willing to listen to them. All right. Thanks, Sully. Yeah, cool. This is my little vibe for today. Mellow but upbeat. I think that's fair. Yep. I appreciate you for sure, Sully. Thanks for coming out. Hopefully this gets you going. Is it too loud? I never know, because I hear it differently than you do. So anyway, are we willing to listen to what am I saying? Are we willing to listen to those signs? Are we willing to listen to a clue? Are we willing to get a clue? Yep, we're going to do it. I think we might find this one to be more in our wheelhouse than some of the ones that I've been doing lately, but let's roll with it. Who in the world is we talking about? Who in the world are we talking about this morning when I tell you that this person was born in England and became one of the most recognizable drummers in rock history? All right, that basically gives you the category. So let's go with that. A drummer from rock history, that is the category. All right. Just start naming drummers and maybe you'll get it right. Or maybe you wait for a second clue right after we do this. There's our music for our wait. That happened today. We're rolling back to 1964, people. I feel like we've been hitting on 64 a little bit hard lately. Maybe we need to change that a little bit. I think, I don't know. A lot happened in 64. 64 was a big year. Big year for stuff, big change in political change in the world, in the U.S. for sure. So things were changing in dramatic ways. I guess I wasn't there. I only read about it, but I know there's a couple people maybe out there that were there. Ringo, no, Eric Clapton. I didn't even know he played the drums. All right, some can play more than one instrument, like Bo Jackson in sports. You're right. I guess Clapton can play. Clapton might be able to play the drums. I guess they all do. I don't know. We all can play the drums. I'm playing the drums, guys. Terribly, but I'm playing the drums. On this day in 1964, you're all right, Kathy. I think it's great. Jump in, whatever. 1964. I have to do this because I haven't done this one yet. Survey says. On this day in 1964, the Federal Trade Commission actually announced that health warnings must appear on cigarette packages and in cigarette advertising. A huge change. Today, we just feel like that's completely normal, right? But most of us have grown up seeing these warning labels everywhere, right? Medicine bottles, household cleaners, power tools, food packaging. But in 1964, I guess this was a significant cultural moment. Earlier that year, the Surgeon General had released a landmark report linking smoking to serious health risks, and the evidence had been building for years. They weren't notice FTC wasn't banning cigarettes. In February 1964, what brand were you smoking at that time, Mom? February 64. I appreciate it, Mom. Big year. See? Big landmark year. I wouldn't be standing in front of you, sitting in front of you, actually, if it weren't for 1964 and my parents' meeting. Okay. I don't like to think about that too much. And that's anyway, the point that I was trying to make, is I'm getting completely off the rails here, was that the FTC didn't ban smoking. They didn't ban the cigarette. They weren't changing the person's behavior. They're just saying, here's some information, a warning, a chance for people to make an informed choice based on what they know. And now whether people acted on that information was their choice, right? We were all smoking Marlboros. Yep. Marblights, Marlboros. Why did I think you told me at one point you used to smoke unfiltered cigarettes? We wouldn't even talk about that in this cigarette. Anyway. Although, yeah. Oh, really? Okay, Napoleon Hill connected to... So, I'm sorry, I don't have this comments on the stage, so I'm the only one seeing most of this stuff. Okay, Napoleon Hill, I like your connections back to those things. Absolutely. That was a big cultural moment, I guess. But anyway, that's not the point of this. The point of this is that warnings don't create change. People create the change. The warning label can tell you that something is dangerous. It cannot make you stop. A friend can tell you you're exhausted. They can't make you take a nap. Your body can tell you it's under stress. It can't make you slow down. So that's the whole point, is that awareness is the power. Awareness without action, though, is just information. Sometimes the warning sign is obvious, but the harder part is deciding what you're going to do with it. Holy free holies. This defines my life in many ways. Not to get too personal, but this is definitely a vulnerability that I have, knowing and doing two different things. two different things entirely. Yep, there are things that I have known and things that I have done where I know it's not what I should be doing. I think we all do it at times at different levels of intensity or risk or potential impact. I guess that's risk. Yeah, hopefully that gives you a little something to think about. It's given me something to think about as I think about it, talk about it, as I wrote it up last night. But let's move on. You know we got to do it, guys. Before we get to our second clue, which I know you're waiting on that second clue about our drummer from England. You got to hear the drop and listen for it. I forgot to get the website. All right. Today's spotlight, our kindness spotlight, because we always highlight good work being done by good people to unlock growth for them and multiply kindness. And today we're shining a light on an organization from the Great White North, Canada. We're going to take our trip. Let's get on a plane, head north and west. At least for me, I don't know where you all are. Most of us, I think, all of you might be straight north from here. Northwest. Most of us are northwest to Vancouver, British Columbia, where there is an organization named Heads Up Guys. I love the name too. Was created to help men recognize, understand, and overcome depression. What I appreciate most about their work is that they focus on something many men, including this guy, struggle with: recognizing the warning signs before they become a crisis. Many of us were taught to just push through, keep moving, keep working, keep providing. Suck it up, you wimp, was the famous one in our house. Keep carrying the load, and while perseverance can be strength, it can also become a blind spot. Sometimes the warning signs aren't dramatic. You're more than irritable than usual. You're exhausted all the time. You stopped enjoying things you used to love. Withdrawing from friends, going through the motions. The challenge is that many men don't immediately recognize these as signs that something needs attention. We tell ourselves, we're just stressed, we're busy, we're tired, gotta keep going. Heads Up Guys helps change that conversation by providing practical resources, self-check tools, stories, and support designed specifically for men, because awareness isn't weakness, paying attention isn't weakness, asking for help isn't weakness. In fact, recognizing a warning sign and taking action may be one of the strongest things that you can do. So here's your reminder. You don't have to wait for a breakdown before you make a change. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do for yourself is listen to the whisper before it becomes a shout. That's today's Kindness Spotlight, focusing on Heads Up Guys. I love that. To me, it's like got that double entendre name, Heads Up Guys. It's like, hey, heads up, guys, coming in, incoming. But also, we're heads up guys. We're keeping our heads up and we're focused forward. I love the name of that organization. I see it two ways, as most things can be. That's our spotlight. All right, who's jumping in here? Hey, Adam Holroyd. How are you, buddy? Are you ready for your Who in the World clue number 2? You missed the first one, but I'll catch you. I'll catch you up to speed on our Who in the World contest. Contest will imply there's a winner, I guess. A quiz. We'll go with quiz. Quiz implies pass or fail. You better not fail me, guys. Born in England and became one of the most recognizable drummers in rock history. That's a numero uno. Here's your second clue, and I think this is going to probably open a lot of doors. At various times, every other original member of his band left, but he was the one constant who stayed with the group through every era. There you go. A drummer from England who stayed constant with the original band throughout every era, and there have been many. All right. Let's see, what else have I got here today? Okay. Oh, I forgot. I got a couple of fun things. Fun and not so fun, whatever. But I am going to do a Grateful Dead thing today because I didn't do one yesterday, I guess. I don't know. And I don't put any music behind that because I like to add my music after if I'm going to post it. All right. Are we ready for a Grateful Dead lesson? There's so many of them. I've been posting a lot on the channel. If you check out my shorts in particular, I'm doing a walk and talk video every day on the channel with a little bit of inspiration, motivation, ideas for that evolve from the Grateful Dead. And that's part of what I'm working on. Part of what I'm working on is building programs around the Grateful Dead as inspiration, as lessons, as examples of teamwork, of standing out, of swimming against the stream, of building community, all those examples of the things that the culture of the Grateful Dead taught us. And here's another one. Here's another one right here, because today's lesson comes from Touch of Grey. Of course, I will get by. I will survive. What I love about that is it's not denial. It isn't toxic positivity. It isn't pretending everything is wonderful. The song spends a lot of time acknowledging that things can be difficult and confusing and messy and uncertain. But the message isn't that struggle disappears. The message is that we can move through it. And that connects beautifully to today's theme. Sometimes the warning sign isn't a crisis. Sometimes the warning sign is simply that you've stopped paying attention to yourself. You've been caring too much for too long. You've been stopped resting. You've stopped connecting. You've stopped doing the things that make you feel alive. And for a lot of people, especially Gen Xers, we were taught to power through, to keep moving, to keep producing and keep solving. But resilience, it isn't just endurance. It's knowing when to adjust and when to ask for help and when to take a breath, knowing when to listen. And Touch of Grey isn't a song about avoiding hardship. It's a song about navigating that hardship. And maybe that's the lesson in Touch of Grey. The goal isn't to avoid every storm. It's to recognize when the clouds are gathering and prepare before you're standing in the rain. That's Touch of Grey. Okay, thanks everybody for indulging my my little Grateful Dead obsession. All right. Okay. How are we doing out there in the world? Everybody doing all right? I am glad you are. I'm going to do another thing too. Let's see. What does Jess have to say? I'm going to read some comments, guys. You guys are chatty and wordy today. I like it, but it takes me a minute. Oh, we're talking about cigarettes. The filter actually doesn't do much but turn them brown. It's a chemical reaction, not what's collected from the smoke. So it's like a psychological thing. You think you're getting a better filter? That's interesting. Did not know that. Did not know that. It was a marketing gimmick, is what you're trying to tell me, I think, Jess. That's interesting. A trick. It is a trick, let me tell you. I've had my own struggles with nicotine in every way, shape, and form. So Touch of Grey, we're talking about Touch of Grey. Yeah, I mean, the only hit, I guess, that the Grateful Dead had, I think it got up into the top 5 in the charts. The video was number 1 for a long time. What an amazing video. To me, that was like another example of the Grateful Dead taking an art form or a thing and bringing it to the next level and just bringing their own spirit to it in a kind of I don't care kind of way. Those puppets, the skeleton puppets in the Touch of Grey video that are dressed like the guys. I mean, it was definitely groundbreaking at the time, and it introduced a lot of people to the Grateful Dead. That was the time that I was introduced to the Grateful Dead. Not because of Touch of Grey. Actually, it was before Touch of Grey actually hit. Right before, I was on the train, on the bus, sort of on the bus. I'm not sure I had paid my fare yet when Touch of Grey came out, but I was on the bus. All right. Anyway, that was enough yik yak about that, because we got to get to our third clue and our compass, right? And we'll do our reveal. I don't see anybody guessing. Anybody else guessing out there? To me, that tells me when people stop guessing, that means somebody knows or everybody knows. And they're like, I just don't want to be the first person to say it. That's what I've learned from doing this now for a few weeks in a row of doing this. But I'm going to give you your third clue anyway. And I think this is going to be the one that's really going to seal the deal for you. Born in England, became a famous drummer. At various times, every other member took a hiatus, we'll say, but he was the one constant. And here's the last clue. Yep, the band was literally created by taking his surname and another surname from the band and smacking them together, sort of modifying them. So who are we talking about? The drummer from a famous band made up of two surnames. He's from England, and that band was not a very stable situation, famously unstable. All right. Let's get to the compass while you guys are thinking about the answer to that one. This is our kindness compass. Every day we move from thought to action here on Kindness Rising as we get up and get after it. And yeah, let's keep it going. Keep it going. 3 things, 3 ways to rise with kindness and be aware of the warning signs. Notice the whisper. Most warning signs begin as whispers. A little fatigue, a little frustration, resentment, or stress. Pay attention. Pay attention before the whisper becomes a shout. Ask one honest question. Instead of asking, am I okay? Try asking, what am I avoiding? How about an open-ended question to ourselves? That's often where the best answer lies. Not the Pete best answer. Make one small adjustment is our last little piece of advice for 3 ways to rise with kindness. And notice the warning sign. Make one small adjustment. You don't need a complete life overhaul. Just go for a walk, make the phone call, schedule the appointment, get an extra hour of sleep. Those small course corrections prevent major detours. That is today's Kindness Compass. Thanks for joining along. All right, we're ready for our reveal. Pete Best's nemesis? Does anybody have the real? I don't know. Was there a connection between this guy and Pete Best? Are we being coy? I don't know. But I haven't seen the name dropped. Are you all being? I'm going to go 3, 2, 1, and everybody insert their answer. Or we could do Jeopardy. Dun, 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 dun. Please answer in the form of a question. Dun, 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 dun. No, 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 no. All right, I'm going to do it anyway. Okay, you all out there ready for the picture? You guys know this guy? Whoa, scary looking dude. Not Ringo. Nope. It's Mick Fleetwood. You got it. Adam Holroyd's in with Mick Fleetwood on the picture. Final answer, Mick Fleetwood, born June 24th, 1947, co-founder and drummer. I'll put his picture back up here because it's a pretty iconic picture. I think that was taken by Annie Leibovitz, actually. A co-founder and drummer of Fleetwood Mac, Mick Fleetwood helped guide one of the most successful bands in music history. But what's remarkable, obviously, isn't just the music, it's the resilience. Lineup changes, addiction struggles, relationship conflicts, financial challenges, and enough drama to fill several documentaries and inspire a really good book. If you haven't read it yet, Daisy Jones and the Six, or whatever that book is. I read it. I forget the name of it, but it's really good. Basically, a fictional version of the Fleetwood Mac drama. And I think they made it into a series, too. That was an aside. But here's the thing. Fleetwood Mac kept creating, they kept adapting, and kept moving forward. Mick's story, Mick, he's my buddy. Hey, Mick. Mick Fleetwood's story reminds us that warning signs don't have to be endings. Sometimes they're invitations, an invitation to change a direction or to grow, an invitation to become something better than we were before. That is Mick Fleetwood. Nice guess, Holroyd. See, we're all providing value here. I love Fleetwood Mac. Does anybody else? Obviously, not. That's my new tick, guys. I'm paying attention to myself. Obviously, well, it's not obvious to everybody. It's obvious to me. Stevie, oh, what a crush. I was catching on YouTube. There's some old footage. I'm gonna guess it was like 78, maybe. It's between 78 and 82, somewhere in there. Stevie Nicks, I looked it up. She was like 24 years old at whatever time the show was that I was looking at. She owned the stage. Watching it 50 years later, I was still like, what the hell is that woman doing? She is owning this. Absolutely. Love Stevie Nicks, the gypsy. All right. That wasn't my intention. The story was about Mick Fleetwood. And we've got one more legend of the music industry that we need to acknowledge. I didn't do it yesterday. I knew that this situation had occurred. Not that surprising that at 94 someone might cash in their chips here, but I'm going to talk a little bit about another guy that I think is pretty dang cool as I've learned more about him. I knew about him before, but actually his passing gave me a chance to read and learn a little bit more about his work. And I don't know, I'm going to put some music up with it. I'm not exactly sure. Oh, fans of the show from early on, from last July, when I first started going live, like I do every day here on the Mornings in the Lab Network, might remember this song. Those that aren't familiar, this was the original theme song for Kindest Rising. All right. But before we finalize, before we wrap it up for the day, I guess, I want to take a moment to acknowledge the passing of a music industry legend, Clive Davis. Clive Davis died this week at the age of 94. Do you know who Clive Davis is? I can guarantee you've never bought a Clive Davis album. He never stood center stage. He wasn't the lead singer. He wasn't the face on the concert poster. But chances are he helped shape some form of the soundtrack of your life. 6 decades in the music industry, and Clive Davis discovered, championed, and helped guide artists, ones that we all are very familiar with, I'm sure. Whitney Houston, Bruce Springsteen, Aretha Franklin, Alicia Keys, Barry Manilow, Patti Smith, Aerosmith, Earth, Wind & Fire. Can I go on? I could, but what strikes me most isn't just his ear for talent. It's that he made a career out of seeing potential before the rest of the world could see it. He recognized gifts early in people and believed in the artists before they became legends. He opened doors. He did it for generations of music, and because he did, millions of us received the songs that carry us through those celebrations, heartbreaks, road trips, weddings, graduations, and countless moments in between. To me, that's right, a legacy. So today we tip our cap or our bandana to Clive Davis, because sometimes people, the ones that we want to follow, are the ones helping others find their passions first. All right. That's Clive Davis. And that's it for today. Thanks for joining, listening along, getting involved in the comments. Absolutely. I appreciate every single one of you that comes out here with me every day. Before we head on over to Mornings in the Lab, though, here's today's thread. What's a warning sign that you've learned to pay attention to? Maybe it's stress, maybe it's exhaustion, maybe it's impatience, maybe it's the moment you realize you've been disconnected from the people who matter most to you. But remember, life gives us warning signs, but we must pay attention to them. It's trying to guide us, and when we learn to listen, we often discover that the warning was the problem. Ignoring it was. That's That's how kindness rises. Thanks for joining me. Get on over to Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 7:30 Eastern, as I am every single day. And until then, stay on time and stay kind.